Welcome to Arizona Barrio Stories and Latino USA TV. We love your stories. We love hearing about your journey. Today you're going to hear about a journey that is very unique, and maybe somebody in your family has a similar journey. Before we get started, we have a quick message from attorney Francisco Gutierrez.
This segment brought to you by Gutierrez Law Firm.
Hola mi gente, I'm attorney Francisco Gutierrez and a proud sponsor of Arizona Barrio Stories. I grew up in the Anat Barrio and I've been practicing law now since 1984. Experience really does matter. If you've been injured by someone, call me, let's talk.
Welcome back. Like I say, history is not complete until you tell your story. We want to hear from you. Whether it's good or bad or indifferent, we still want to hear your story. Your story is unique to you. Don't let anybody else tell it. Today we have a special guest, and I consider them all special. She's going to introduce herself, and then I'm going to ask her a series of questions to take you on a journey with us. Please introduce yourself.
Hello everybody, my name is Nieves.
Anna, tell me, where did little Anna grow up? Tell me about your beginning of your journey.
Little Anna grew up in Yuma, Arizona. I was born in Sonora, grew up in Yuma, and moved to West Phoenix when I was 7 years old.
And when you were 7, tell me, what grade school did you attend?
It was called Pioneer Elementary at the time. Now I don't even know what they call it. They changed all the names, but it's all the way out in Avondale.
Avondale.
Yep.
I know there's a lot of barrios in Avondale.
Yeah.
Tell me about you. You are what we call visually impaired, or some people say blind. When did that happen? How did it happen? Tell us about the beginning of that journey.
Well, I was born very prematurely. I was not supposed to survive. I'm surviving, just saying. But I grew up, as any other normal kid, but I was always being placed in this little, glass bubble. My mom always tried to overprotect me, but like any other mischievous kid, I rode a bike anyways, got wet in the mud anyways. I did the whole, usual kid thing, but I was mostly into bikes and balls and playing outside. I wasn't really into the whole Barbie thing. Not my
normal kid.
Yeah, normal kid. And I grew up, I didn't realize I didn't have normal, quote, sight. I didn't find that out until I was 8 years old.
8? Oh my.
Yeah. And that was only because I was being sneaky behind the doctor's door.
You were eavesdropping.
Yeah, I wanted to know what they were talking about. It was about me, right? So I want to know.
And what happened? How did your family react to that?
I'm going to say this because this is how it feels to me. It was very sweep it under the rug kind of thing. They didn't know how to deal with a person with a, quote, disability. My mom always tried to keep me in a little box, even though I didn't let her. My brothers didn't really know how to deal with it. My dad kind of just ignored it. So it was something that they didn't speak of. My mom was crying in the doctor's office when the specialist was telling her, she's not going to have a normal childhood. She's not going to be able to drive. She's not going to be able to work. She's not going to be able to have a normal family, a normal life. And my mom got out and, went to me, and she told me if I could give you my eyes, I would. And I turned around, keep in mind a little 8-year-old, and I, looked to her face and I told her, Mom, para lo que hay que ver en este mundo, I don't care. I don't want to see it. I already hear all the evil around here. I don't want to see it. I'm fine. So that kind of took everybody by surprise because you don't hear that from an 8-year-old.
Tell me how school adapted with you, either grade school or high school. What was life like in school?
Well, they put me in Head Start, preschool, all that stuff. Those were okay. When it hit grade school, kindergarten, first, second grade, it was really difficult. Those schools at the time, and this was in Yuma, did not know how to deal with a student with special needs. They didn't know how to make their, curriculum accessible to me, at least. So they kind of just shoved me from grade to grade, just let me cruise along from grade to grade, not really, expecting me to learn much because they didn't know how to teach me. They tried different shapes and different methods, but it wasn't helping because everything was in print.
And
So
high
that was
school?
hard.
Same thing in high school?
High school was a little better. By the time I hit high school, I was already getting introduced to screen enlargement programs, closed caption TVs, which used to enlarge print. So I was able to write, on the papers and stuff. And I got introduced to Braille. In 7th grade, did not want to learn Braille. It was annoying to me because at the time I had what they considered usable vision. So I didn't think I needed it. I need it now, and now I'm learning Braille, and I'm pretty much almost, done with contracted Braille, which is the second level. But in high school, I had my own office, and I guess a lot of kids resented the fact that I had to have a specific room for me, but they didn't realize I had a whole setup. I had 3 machines I had to use. I wasn't going to carry the whole cart with all the machinery on top of it to 6 classes. It's not going to do it.
And friends? Did you have friends?
All of my friends had special needs themselves. I had my best friend in high school and in junior high school. He was a wheelchair user. He was my best friend since I met him in 7th grade, and we kind of just hung out together. He was in a wheelchair. I was visually impaired, so we kind of just stuck together. Grade school, I had another girl that was also special needs. She was able to walk a little bit, but she had a lot of issues walking, so she was also in a chair for most of the day. And I remember her a lot too.
Did you guys kind of take care of each other?
Kind of, yeah. We kind of just hung out, in little clusters because everybody else kind of ostracized us from everything else. So we kind of just stuck together just so we wouldn't be so isolated.
Once you were a senior in high school, did your counselors advise you to do such and such once you graduate, or what was life like after high school?
Not really. Usually in high school, when you're a senior, you get a guidance counselor for career ventures and further education or whatever. What do you like to do? What do you like? What are your interests? I didn't really have that. A lot of it had to do with cultural. My parents, were in the beliefs, you graduate high school, you get married, have kids, the typical, family thing. But in high school, guidance counselors, they didn't really know what to say. I mean, a lot of jobs are not adapted for people with vision loss or any kind of other disability. So there wasn't a lot of options back then.
I met you recently at a Adelante healthcare presentation. Tell me a little bit, if you could give me a little story about how you ended up with Adelante.
I lost the rest of my vision 2 years ago. I was working at the time at FedEx. Figure that. I was in a warehouse, okay? But one day I went into the restroom and then the lights went out and I'm like, okay, who's messing with me? Turn the lights back on. But they didn't turn on. I knew that was going to happen. I was already told by the eye specialist, your retina is detaching whatever you have left. It's going to detach at some point. We just don't know when. So I walked into the restroom and I couldn't walk back out. Lucky for me, I had a radio, so I called from my manager and I told him, look, I gotta go. I can't finish my shift. I need to go. And I told him I can't see anything. And he freaked out for me, which is hilarious. But I told him, look, I don't trust your delivery drivers, so I'm gonna go sit down over here. And when the shift was over, my friend took me home, and that was it. That was the end of my career, my job career, because I couldn't go back to FedEx. And it was a very difficult time. I went as dark as you can get.
So your encounter with Adelante was how now?
My encounter with Adelante was I looked for the Arizona Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired. That's an organization, nonprofit. They work with people who have vision loss, people who have hearing loss. You want to be independent. You want to go back to work. And they have programs that help you. They work with vocational rehab services. And I was looking for a new doctor's office because sadly, a lot of the doctor's offices I encountered in the past, they are not accessible. So I heard about Adelante, and the funny story is I was a patient there right before they became partners. And that's how I ended up with Adelante. I was already a patient there, but then they heard my story and they wanted to, they wanted to hear my story, and I went and I told them my story, and then I ended up at the lunch, and Irma found me.
As we close up, you had said off camera, when you were a kid, you always wanted to drive a red convertible, and that kind of came to an end. And you said that at the time they had said you'd never have kids, the nevers. Mm-hmm. And I was glad to hear you have kids, right?
I have two, 17-year-old and a 20-year-old.
What message would you like to close up with? What message for other people out there that have an impairment or disability would you like to say?
The only limit you have is the one you let others put on you. I don't limit myself. I don't like other people limiting me. Everybody's telling you no. There are ways where you can say, yes, I'm going to do it. Watch me. You will thrive, but you have to believe in yourself. Don't let others tell you you can't, because you can.
So in your mind, are you driving a red convertible Mustang?
Yes, my red Mustang convertible.
Awesome. I thank you for coming and joining us. Thank you for agreeing to come. I know you were a little bit nervous, but you did fine. I want to thank you from Arizona Barrio Stories on Latino USA TV. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Ana.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And I want you to keep in touch with us.
Oh, of course.
Well, what a story. A story straight. It was her voice, her story, her journey. We want to hear from you also. Maybe this story touched you in some way. Please leave a good comment so we can let her know about all the comments that come in. Thank you from Arizona Barrio Stories on Latino USA TV. We will see you soon.